WCBI News at 10 starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight at 10. An Okolona man is killed in a car crash after investigators say the truck he was driving struck a tree. It happened just after 2 o'clock this afternoon. MHP troopers, they've responded to the crash on MS 41 near County Road 178 in Chickasaw County. The driver's been identified as Jonathan Marley, 58. Troopers say that he was pronounced dead on scene. Troopers say Marley was driving south on MS 41 when he ran off the road and struck a tree. Troopers say he was not wearing a seatbelt. That accident is still under investigation. How safe are you when you go onto someone else's property, and who's responsible if you get hurt while you're there? Now, those questions are at the center of a controversy surrounding the Landowners Protection Act being considered at the state capitol. Courtney Jackson has the very latest from House members who voted on the bill today.
Right now, if you get injured while you're on someone's property by another individual, that landowner is fully liable, even if they don't know the person who hurt you. But that could change if the Landowners Protection Act is signed into law.
Business owners should not, in and of themselves, bear the brunt of the crime that is occurring.
All of these logos represent business organizations supporting the act. Why? They say it will protect businesses from frivolous lawsuits.
What we're trying to do is simply clarify that when landowners are responsible, they be held responsible, but when they're not responsible, how does that work and how do we clarify that?
Opponents say the proposed changes would lead to more crime because property owners won't have the same expectations to take reasonable security measures.
If you just willy-nilly let someone do anything that they want to do, that's what they're going to do. Nothing. They're not going to do anything to make sure things are safe for the customers that's coming.
Meanwhile, Representative Mark Baker argues that's not necessarily the case now.
There's misconceptions that say businesses are responsible for having lighting and they're responsible for having security, they're responsible for having personnel. Not necessarily, and by the way, that doesn't stop people from suing these businesses that have all of those things in place.
If there were crimes on the property in the last 3 years that resulted in a felony conviction, the bill says the business would be liable because it would be considered an atmosphere of violence. But that's not enough for those who worry about the consequences.
It will make the property less safe here in Mississippi for people.
Courtney Jackson, WCBI News.
Starting tomorrow, when you go out to eat in Columbus, you'll be seeing a tax increase on your receipt. The 2% restaurant tax officially takes effect tomorrow. The state legislature revived the tax, and Governor Phil Bryant signed it into law earlier in the session. Now, you may remember last year the tax came up for renewal but died in committee. Mayor Robert Smith says with the tax back in place, it's going to have a great impact both for the city and Lowndes County. Tonight, the city of Columbus celebrates Main Street. Main Street's annual meeting celebrating milestones in 2018 was held at Events Off 5th. Dozens of people involved with the city, both employees and volunteers, packed the venue. Now, downtown Columbus is at 92% capacity, beating the state average of 83%. Out of 146 properties, only 12 remain vacant. That's according to Barbara Bigelow with Main Street Columbus. Also at tonight's party, they unveiled this year's artwork for Market Street Festival, which takes place this May. Hollywood comes to Starkville. At least it's going to feel that way with tomorrow's red carpet event. It's being rolled out for the 22nd annual Magnolia Film Festival. The event kicked off tonight at Hollywood Premiere Cinemas. This year will feature 32 different films ranging from comedy, drama, animation, and documentaries from independent filmmakers all over the world.
The Magnolia Independent Film Festival is very important to not just this community in the Golden Triangle, but to the state. Since the MAG was the very first film festival in Mississippi, it spawned a whole film festival culture within our state and an entire independent film community that back in 1997 there was no other film festival, there was no outlet for filmmakers.
The red carpet rolls out tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. Time now to toss things over to meteorologist Jacob Riley with a first look at our forecast. Hey there, Jacob.
Hey, Scott, we're headed to a good start to the weekend. It's clear out there right now. We do have a couple of clouds around, sitting in the upper 50s to lower 60s across much of the area. You see those 40s there over towards the northwestern portions of our area. We do have a cold front that's moving through. That's beginning to drop our temperatures by a good bit compared to this time yesterday. A good 16 degrees cooler there in Grenada. There's that cold front moving through, bringing a few showers and storms up to our area with it. We could see a few of those later on tonight. The heaviest of the rain now in southern portions of our area. Coming up a little later in the show, Scott, I'll let you know when we can see some more heavy rain move back into our area.
All right, thank you very much, Jacob. Well, as Black History Month comes to a close, we conclude our Made by History series where we started, the church. After Saturday's destructive tornado in Columbus, there were church groups on the ground within hours to help. Now, one was Missionary Union Baptist Church, a historic African-American church near one of the hard-hit neighborhoods. Our Quentin Smith, he has more on their efforts to put words into actions.
If a movement is going to start, it has been in the church. The church has been the power base for our community.
It was just a few weeks ago when Pastor Tony Montgomery explained how people find hope in the church, not knowing that hope would now be relied upon after an EF3 tornado struck the city of Columbus this past weekend.
The church is a place of resource. Yes, we can pray for people, but when you talk about meeting needs, it should be meeting the spiritual and the physical needs of people. So it's not just about, give them a scripture. It's give them some food, provide shelter.
Instead of serving people from the pulpit on Sunday, Montgomery and his church were out in the community serving those who were impacted by the tornado.
We did have a brief worship service on Sunday morning, but my cook was cooking the whole time, and servers were getting things ready. So at 12 o'clock noon, we were ready to feed.
The church has fed close to 1,000 people this week alone. The longtime pastor says, in dark times like these, the church serves as a beacon of light, rallying the community together and encouraging everyone to keep their faith in the midst of the storm.
For us, it's to make sure that this community is made whole again. Yes, this community may not have the resources of some other communities, but they are people, they're God's people. And we want to make sure that, the city, FEMA, MEMA, the governor, they do what they are supposed to do.
All week long, other pastors and churches have also answered the call to service by giving back to a community that's lost so much, showing that not even a destructive tornado or demolished homes or damaged community can stop them from doing the Lord's work.
This is our community. We serve here, we work here, we worship here, and we wanted to do it for this community to let them know that we're not just somebody who invites them to church, but somebody who serves them when they have needs.
They're not victims. They are survivors. But if we don't do what we're supposed to do, we'll make them victims. And that's the problem. The church's position in this is to do the work of God, but to be the voice, if we have to, of people who are hurting.
And right now, a lot of people still hurting after that twister. Well, Montgomery says that he and his church, they'll continue to serve meals and keep their boots on the ground, assisting everyone impacted by the storm. Hundreds of volunteers were out at Genesis Church to help hand out supplies to tornado victims. 30,000 pounds of supplies loaded up in an 18-wheeler made its way to the Friendly City. Bags were filled with food and hygiene products. Volunteers say there was enough to hand out 1,500 bags. Well, there are about 100 tornado-damaged homes that cannot take electricity. Columbus Light and Water employees and city leaders, they went out to those homes today. They handed out flyers to the people that lived there and explained the situation while giving information on resources that are available. Shady and Moss Streets, along with Conway Drive, are particularly hard hit. Now, if electricity was hooked up to some of those homes, it could cause a fire.
A large problem where the house is the roof's off, the walls are gone, foundation's cracked. And we've seen smaller problems where just limbs and debris have torn the weatherhead loose from the house. So you've got both big and small problems.
The City Inspection Department will approve repairs to the homes before electricity can be connected. Now, if you believe that you should be receiving power and you're not, call the Columbus Light and Water's emergency line. That number there you see on the bottom of your screen.
Well, the weekend is here. Tomorrow's looking mostly cloudy. Could see a few peaks of sunshine later on in the day. It's going to be a little cooler across the area. Highs there only in the middle to upper 50s. Coming up after the break, I'll let you know when the 40s for highs return to our forecast.
WCBI First Alert AccuWeather forecast with meteorologist Jacob Riley.
Well, good Thursday evening. We are dealing with some clouds out there right now. You can kind of see a few of those here on our Columbus sky cam. A little bit of rain is beginning to work its way on into our area as well. We've had this cold front push on through a little earlier. There's some more of those showers beginning to lift on up into our area. They have some lightning, could have some gusty winds and some small hail associated with it as well. We're not expecting any severe weather tonight though. There's that lightning count. It has died down over the last couple of minutes. That scattered shower pattern will continue as we head into the early morning hours of your Friday. Futurecast doing a good job picking up on those storms as you head out the door for your morning commute on Friday. Could be dealing with some areas of light drizzle, light rain across the area that will quickly move on through as we move around midday for your Friday. If you're heading out the door for lunch, it's going to be cloudy, but it's going to be dry, so no rain to worry about. Later on towards the evening hours, though, you begin to see some of that gray. That is some peaks of sunshine beginning to work their way back across the area Friday afternoon and evening, but overnight those clouds are going to begin to build back in once again. Now Saturday, we are monitoring for the potential of severe weather once again. On a scale of 0 to 5, we are currently sitting at a 2, so it's not the highest risk that we've seen. It's a lot lower than what we were expecting last weekend as well. But again, we could see some damaging winds, large hail, and some isolated tornadoes in all of the yellow counties here. So our entire area does have a chance at seeing some severe weather late Saturday night on into early Sunday morning. And here's the setup. We're going to see this low pressure system swing through. As it does, we're going to have some colder air to the north, warmer air to the south. Where those two meet, we could have some severe storms along this cold front right here. And in addition to that severe weather, we are looking like we're going to see some more heavy rain between now and later in the day on Sunday. So we could pick up anywhere between 1 to 2 inches across the entire area. You can see those orange and yellows really fill in across the map. I wouldn't be surprised to see if a few of us did see closer towards 3 inches of rain. Now with that cold front, we are going to see that colder air arrive with it this time. The next 6 to 10 days, the Climate Prediction Center is showing us well below average in terms of temperatures. So if you're a winter lover, that's good news for you. We are going to see that chilly air work its way back into the forecast. And Monday, look at this. Some of us are going to struggle to hit the lower 40s for your highs, not your lows. Northern portions of the area could only top out there in the upper 30s. So some bitter cold is on the way. Those wind chills will make it feel even colder. The good news is, though, we are going to move those clouds and rain out, leaving us with sunshine for the first half of the work week next week. So we'll take that, I guess, for the cold. But your 7-day forecast does show those colder temperatures begin to move in there on Monday. Look at those morning lows, the middle 20s for lows. Rain chances go back up towards the end of next week.
The Lady Dogs taking on LSU on the hardwood. Highlights from women's basketball coming up later in sports.
Watching WCBI News at 10 with Scott Martin.
Welcome back, everyone. This month we're talking about cardiac care. Tonight, how low sodium diets can help lower heart disease, and our Health Talk with Baptist.
Hi, I'm Brianna Cooper, a clinical dietitian at Baptist Memorial Hospital Golden Triangle. Remember that a heart-healthy diet includes low fat, low cholesterol, and low sodium. Paying attention to sodium levels in foods may help to reduce your risk of heart disease. Choose foods that contain less than 300 milligrams of sodium per serving. Sodium intake should be less than 2,400 milligrams per day. 1 teaspoon of salt contains 2,300 milligrams of sodium. According to the CDC, Americans get most of their daily sodium intake, more than 75%, from processed and restaurant foods. Roughly 40% of all the sodium in the American diet comes from just 10 different types of foods, which are breads and rolls, cured meats and cold cuts, pizza, poultry, soup, sandwiches, cheese, pasta dishes, meat dishes, and snacks. Tips for reducing sodium intake include: choose low sodium or no added salt versions of foods, avoid processed foods such as frozen dinners, instant cooking foods, luncheon meats and potted meats, pickles, sauerkraut and olives, limit condiments and salt seasonings, do not add extra salt to your food while cooking or at the table, and choose fresh or frozen vegetables. Use spices and herbs to enhance the taste of foods. It normally takes about 2 weeks for your taste buds to adapt to a change. Join us next time for Health Talk with Baptist.
Mail your topic suggestions to healthtalk@wcbi.com. Health Talk has been brought to you by Baptist Memorial Hospital Golden Triangle.
Hell State Hoops makes it back-to-back. The Bulldogs are on top of the SEC once again. Highlights from Starkville coming up next in sports.
WCBI Sports with Tom Ebel.
Senior night doesn't get much bigger than this. Not only was Mississippi State honoring one of the winningest classes in school history, but the Bulldogs had a chance to make it back-to-back SEC regular season championships. Tierra McCowan and the seniors taking to the hump, probably not for the last time, but still being honored inside the hump. First quarter, Big T finds Andriel Howard for the bucket plus the foul. It's 4-0 Mississippi State right off the bat, and later in the corner, Jordan Danbury with the crossover, attacks the rim, easy two. Then still in the first, Tierra McCowan on senior night had herself a ball game. Feeder down low, that's the jump hook we all know and love, for two, and then State back again. Zaria Wiggins finds Jazz Holmes in the corner. Well, if you're just going to leave her open, she's going to drain it every time. Jazz with the triple, 6-point lead for State. Now the second corner, Big T cleaning up the offensive glass. Give me that. Just battles her way through two defenders with the bucket. Flex on him, Big T. 6-point lead still, now Jazz Holmes. Feed the beast. McCowan, she went 10 for 12 in this ball game, and yet another double-double. Then in Dogs clamp down on defense. Jazz Holmes with the steal, outlet to Maya Taylor, bounce past Andriel Howard. Beautiful ball movement. State up by 8. Then off the inbounds play, Jazz Holmes, alley-oop to McCowan. She finished with 25 and 13 on senior night. And to finish off the half, Danbury to Andriel Howard, pulls up for the mid-range J. Hail State Hoops clinches a share of the SEC regular season title. They could win it outright Sunday against South Carolina, but the Dogs run it back nonetheless. They top LSU 76-56. Ole Miss women's basketball dropping a heartbreaker on the road at Alabama. Crimson Tide winning 46-43. Rebels fall to 3-12 in SEC play. Crystal Allen finishing with 20 points. Time to punch some tickets to Jackson. The Little Egg Bowl Hoops version. Starkville taking on Oxford. Jack gets unleashed from deep. Tyler Talley from the logo. Nylon. Starkville up early, but Oxford would answer. J.J. Pegues to Tykel Owens. Baseline drive with the contact and the bucket. Coach Carter, not so sure about that one. But then Starkville, the three barrage begins. Talley pulls up from Petty's barbecue for the triple, and Jamarian Brown getting in on the action. The assist from Terry Tate. Starkville, they may have hit close to 10 threes in the first half in this one. And then the Chargers join the three-point contest. Pegues, the big fella, showing off the range. He'd have 30 points in this one. Not enough, though. Starkville joins the Final Four. They defeat Oxford 79-65. Tupelo Golden Wave hoping to join Starkville and Jackson, hosting Murrah. Tupelo jumped out in front. Keandre Hampton nailing the three there, so early lead for Tupelo. Then the shot off, but Anthony Nichols cleans up the mess. Gets a nice reverse lay-in to go, and then pass inside to the beast. Josh Mitchell bullying his way, stays with it, takes the two. Tupelo up, and then Mason Gary, just the icing on cake with the two-hand jam. Tupelo joining Starkville in Jackson. Wave wins 62-57. Tupelo hosting Hernando on the girls' side, trying to be one of the rare teams to have both girls and boys in Jackson. Kenzie Sharp drives to the bucket, gives Tupelo a 1-point lead. Then Jalancia Colheim to the basket, cuts into Hernando's lead. 2-point ball game late in the third. Hallie Trailer for three. That ties the ball game up, but Hernando up by 4 in the fourth. In the fourth, Jalecia Florence drives it right to the bucket, takes the contact, no call, but she takes the two nonetheless. But Hernando tops Tupelo late. They get the win 43-40. West Lowndes taking on McAdams, trying to earn their way to Jackson. Close game at a halftime, but not for long. Nice ball movement. Quay Sanders inside for hoop plus the harm. What an atmosphere in West Lowndes tonight. Panthers swinging. Well, if you're going to leave Jermaine Williams that wide open, he's just going to have to make it rain on you. He'll take all 3 of those, and then right before the end of the third, Panthers, they're going to steal the inbounds play. Brooks is going to go coast to coast. Watch this layup. Almost impossible. Drains it anyway. West Lowndes gets the dub, 71-54. We'll have all the scores from tonight's action on our website, WCBI.com. But that's it for sports. Last look at your weather is next.
Rain around for the next couple of days. We could see a few stronger to severe storms there late Saturday night, early Sunday morning. The risk right now doesn't look as high as what it did last weekend, but we're still going to keep our eye on it. After that front moves through, highs are dropping into the lower 40s, Scott, and you see those 20s for Tuesday and Wednesday morning. I am not looking forward to that.
Literally weather whiplash is what I'm calling it. It felt just like spring earlier. All right, thanks, Jake. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.